our path through the state is based largely on the Florida Ecological Greenways Network that has already had a map, and scientists like Tom Hocker from the University of Florida and others have identified what they call critical linkages. So those are areas where if the water is going to flow, or a bear, a panther, or a deer is going to walk from one place to the next, they need to be connected. Our effort is just bringing them all and trying to put a name to it so we can have more of a public conversation about what's possible and what we have a chance to do. So the Florida Wildlife Corridor is really an opportunity area. There's been so much work done over so many years to take places like the Everglades and Big Cypress National Preserve and areas here around the reservation and other ranches during conservation easement and protect them. What could happen if we're not careful is you can turn these places into islands in and amongst themselves. So, you know, the Kissimmee River Valley has a lot of protected land. Ocala National Forest, the Okefenokee Swamp, our final destination for late April. These areas need lifelines between them so that water can move and animals can move. And you know, we knew all this stuff kind of intellectually and from our experiences, but to have spent the past 3 weeks physically paddling and walking and cycling from Flamingo down the Everglades to this point, those stories have been very evident over and over again. So in the Everglades, for example, what they're doing to restore the water flow to the Everglades also accomplishes the same goal of allowing the wildlife to move, and also accomplishes the same goal of ensuring water supply for people. We knew a little bit about that ahead of time. Then we came a little further west and we were in the Picayune Strand State Forest and we saw a very extensive restoration project that's going on there, but it turns out those same themes repeat themselves. Restoring the natural water flow to help protect the estuary of Florida Bay and around Everglades City. It also protects the movement of panthers and bears, and also ensures that the water is stored on the land so it's more available for the people around it. So it seems like there's some real common ground between a lot of common goals that are good for a lot of people, and it's remarkable that we're able to follow this red line that we've traced as our track for our expedition, and able to visit places with little or no controversy. The ranching community, like Cousin John here, whose house we're staying at tonight, or Commissioner Ron Bergeron, whose ranch we stayed at last night, are long-standing conservationists and would be very open to the idea of perpetuating their land in conservation if they were compensated appropriately to sell off their development rights and things like that. So the Florida Wildlife Corridor vision is not an idea of the government coming and buying a bunch of land. It's an idea of trying to help raise awareness for the importance of helping maintain lands that are functioning as connections. We heard a story a little bit earlier about a bear that was captured here and went all the way up to Avon Park. And Joe put a collar on a black bear in Highlands County that walked from Sebring all the way up to Celebration near Disney World, back down the Kissimmee River, over to Babcock Ranch, and back into Glades County. So the land is functionally connected, but it's just, it's really on our watch if we want to try to keep it that way. So it's not about whether we develop. It's kind of like as we do things, thinking about the landscape position so that we don't have the unintended consequences of creating islands. One thing Commissioner Bergeron said yesterday, which we found interesting, is you can't mitigate for, what was it? You
can't mitigate for a lost connectivity.
Yeah, so once that connectivity is lost, it's lost. And for better or worse, the burden of that is higher now than it was years ago because we brought it down to some bottlenecks and critical linkages where connectivity across the Caloosahatchee River, for example, could be gone forever with just a little bit of decisions one way or another. So anyway, that's enough about all the reason behind it, I think.